Net and the pink boots.
Okay, stay where the possible list. Okay.
What's the percentage left?
Well, they're both 7.
Yeah, but
I'll try net.
we'll share one.
Linda. And well, 2 years ago it started. My son said something about it. So, teenager. We were talking about our government did something. Like, you don't even know what's going on in the world and to say something like that. So it bothered me for a while, and then I just was clicking through YouTube and I had a new clip, and that's when I watched Loose Change.
Yeah.
And once you watch that, then you watch another one, and then the one where they're all jumping out of the buildings, and it was just horrifying to me. Then about 6 months later, you know, I'm looking at other things, doing this and that, and the eclipse happened, and I just didn't get that whole thing. Why is it going from west to east? I just don't get that, and it's only 70 miles wide. Like, shadows have to be the same size, right, or similar. So I was telling Dave, I went from outside looking at it. I mean, it wasn't full by us here in New Jersey, but I could go in the house and look at a massive channel. Nothing. I just didn't, nothing happened. Talk to my kids on the phone. Nothing was making sense.
Right.
And then by the end of the day, I was like, oh, look at this video. But the zooming in on the moon, I was going to look at the flag.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the flag.
Yeah.
I was like, there should be there. And it's like, there's no flag. I don't understand. And then it just went from 1 to 1, and then I saw Mark Sargent's
Flat Earth Clues.
Clues.
Right.
It took me, I watched the whole thing, and it took, like you said, I stopped for about a week or 2, and then I watched it again, and then I just, something just clicked with him and Dave Murphy, and I just listened and listened, and I haven't stopped watching and listening.
Awesome.
For a year and a half. And I saw you on your, when you went, oh, the reason I'm here today is because the husband had a meltdown screaming at me. And I said, I have to find people to talk to. I can't handle this by myself anymore.
Are you from New Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't handle this anymore. Not
Yeah.
being able to, or look at this, or what about that, or I have questions.
Yes, yes.
You know, when people either look at you or don't mention that word in the house, and you're like, oh my God, I can't, and it's like I equated it to being pregnant. People could say, oh, just forget about it for a while. You can't.
No,
It
you
doesn't
can't.
ever go away.
Yeah.
Everything I look at, every time the sun comes out, the moon, the birds, the clouds, the ocean, everything.
The fundamental understanding of what we are, where we are.
Yes.
And it's not only hidden from us, it's we're deceived.
And then the questions like this about being deceived. How did they do this? Like the details that are in books and journals about the satellite space stations and the words they big, you know, astronaut words.
Billions, millions, gazillions of light years.
Like, yeah.
Accepted as reality.
And it's all make believe.
That you can't
The
even
bigger the lie, the easier to make it
Right.
stick, right? Because then people just go, I can't handle that.
Tell a lie big
Leave it to
enough
the scientists.
and often
Yeah.
enough, and they'll believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if they tried to make a smaller lie, people would probably be more apt to say, that's bullcrap.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bigger
because you
lie,
can compare it
your
to
mind
other
just gets
things.
jumbled with
But when the
their-
lie covers everything, and if there's a problem, they silence it or, you know, make up something to cover up that part, and they've got everything's like compartmentalized, so they're spread out. So this has come out like here and there, not just all at one time, and we have the internet now.
Well, that's the whole difference.
Well, that's the only reason why, in my opinion, why it's coming out. Because
There's
people
no
have
way
known
you
this.
would have
Like,
even looked at
they
it.
say up until the 1950s, 50% of the population didn't believe in a spinning ball. It was after the moon
Right.
mission that everybody's like, oh,
The moon
now you see
landing
on
was a
TV,
big
now you see
deal.
a big
Like when
marble,
we
like,
were born, like in the 50s, 60s. That's
the brain can't
I saw
process
that.
it, like,
I saw
it's
it.
a wave of like, oh, did you see this? Just like 9/11, like, right? It's almost like it happens so fast that the fear is overwhelming that everybody's like, the fear swallows everyone. Before
Yeah.
you know it, like, there's.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's in your mind. your logical mind can't even question the fact that buildings got pulverized to dust. Steel, 110 stories of steel structures pulverized to
Have
dust.
you looked into dustification? Dr. Judy Wood, she did a thing on dustification.
I know the name.
And it's about John. I keep John with it starts with an A. I mean an H. Hutchinson. He did experiments on bending steel with sound waves and levitation and all that has to do.
Dr. Stephen Jones, physics professor. Stephen Jones, he was huge in 9/11.
Yeah.
This guy was doing seminars in colleges, teaching that
those buildings turned to dust before they came down.
Bends like in thousands of degrees. Steel bends and melts. Doesn't pulverize to dust. 110 stories in 11 seconds.
People on the ground too saw the explosions happening at every floor.
Oh yeah.
People saw that, but their stories were shut down. You know.
Right.
It got on the news briefly, and
That's right.
They cut the story and never
That's right.
let it air again.
People don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe this.
I had my friend's husband.
Fundamental
He
senses
started
are
talking about 9/11. He said,
when somebody tells you
so big.
that your senses are
Yeah.
right now that are telling you
I'm like, that's my friend's
you're
husband.
on a level ground. Anywhere you go, you can go for thousands of miles that way. You will be on level ground, right? You feel no motion under your feet. When these primary senses, they tell us, oh, they're not good. You're flying at 66,000. You're wobbling. You're spinning at 1,000, right? Now they take all these that you like, okay. Now you tell yourself, like, I don't know anything. I was telling my wife, so like I have to flat earth. How many times did I go to Croatia with my parents and just standing and looking at the horizon, and in my own head, like, how is it a bowl? 5 seconds, and then just my own brain tells my brain, stop, don't go there. You're not smart enough. You don't know. Okay.
They must have a reason.
That's what they teach
And
you
every
at
time,
school.
and every
It's
time.
like, oh,
So this is my point.
this,
They teach you to not trust your own senses, your instinct, your
Someone
Yep.
else got it figured out.
right? So we shut it down on our own. It's like a switch. Whoop, I'm stupid. I'm stupid.
They
Tell me
must
what
know
you
better. They must know
Tell me
what
what I should
they're
believe.
talking about, yeah.
Oh, yeah, millions of gazillions of miles.
Don't
Okay,
challenge
I believe you.
science. Don't
Okay,
challenge.
we'll
Or
stay on
even
the
if
ball.
you, like you said, I could question it many times and gone, how?
So
and
many
then
times.
You said same thing. 5 seconds later, it's like, oh well, it must be.
This is why for some, to
must
me,
be.
flat earth is like almost like liberation. I love it. To some people, it scares them. To me, it was like the last. Like I never understood. I hated space. I can't understand anything. How's these stars the same? And like we're like. So again, 5 seconds. I'm like, I'm stupid. So now with flat earth, I'm like, I'm not freaking stupid.
And it's
I was right the whole
It's
time.
so simple.
Yeah, it's so simple.
Right? It's
It's
just-
everything logic.
you don't
Everything
have
makes
to
sense.
remember all these stupid
East to
numbers.
west.
Yeah, north here and south. It's just so easy.
Yeah.
They try to
When
make
the
it
sun
hard on
goes, you don't have to
purpose.
worry about everything.
Yeah, but do you know what's the not easy part about it? There's a creator.
Exactly.
There's a creator.
Exactly.
And you're saying, whoa,
Oh, wait a second.
who is this guy? What does he expect of me, his creation?
Well, that's the whole purpose of the deception.
That's right.
Just a hard
That's the main objective. It always has been behind it. And once they start a lie, they have to perpetuate it. They can't stop it.
Yep.
And when they get away with it, they make worse and worse and worse. I mean, look at all the
It's so
pedophiles and everything, what they're doing to kids. I mean,
They're mixing the kids up so bad now, their brains will never be right. They'll
There's
never
like-
know what's
there's
right,
like
what's
15
wrong,
genders.
what to believe.
Right.
They won't have
Yeah,
any
that's
perception
Right.
I
of
look at
good
it
or
differently
evil
now.
anymore.
I know.
Because these assholes are perpetuating this stuff.
Yes.
From one end of this freaking country and worldwide. Stuff
I know.
they're teaching, trying to teach in kindergarten.
It's right.
that's why,
I would
That's
not
what they
send my
started.
kids to school.
That's why I call it, it's emotional programming.
well, that's why I feel I have a lot of work to do. That's why I'm out there. Every time somebody's talking, hit the streets, like over repeat it and repeat
And
it.
I like your choice of words. Like you say to people, you teach. You don't debate, you don't argue. You're
Right.
not here to like, oh, look at, you teach. You want to know something? Okay, come on.
I'll teach you. I may not know everything, but I
Exactly.
tell them
You-
something they don't know, and that's easy.
Because, well, you know, I will tell them, like, well, you know, you probably believe that you know. But if you know something, please tell me. Tell me what you know. And let's take it from there. I like what you know, like, choice of words and everything, you know. The only thing I don't like when the kids attack you and you go in between all these loud kids and they're laughing at you, like, I just wish I was there, you know.
Yeah, but you
'Cause
can't
need
deck
some-
them.
No, I don't
They
mean
have
like that.
security.
I don't mean, I don't mean anything physical. I'm not a physical person, like nothing like that. Just to have like
A man.
voice.
A man,
or
you're
someone-
right.
Or a few
That's
different
right.
people.
I
who are
understand
there,
that.
Because then they wouldn't be like, yeah, she like. Some of those kids are like.
Yes, I
Their
know.
ignorance is like, oh my
That's
gosh,
right.
Like, it's
I
like-
agree
Why do
with
they care
you.
so much?
Yeah, and like, why do you like?
Why
They
are they
stand there for
attacking
20
me?
minutes attacking her.
Did someone tell them to attack her? Like
Do you
that
stand around
coordinated
something that's
effort?
stupid?
You
and
wonder.
ridicule it for 20 minutes. I'm like, oh my
Well, it
gosh,
doesn't,
it's stupid,
as
like,
a
walk
kid,
away.
I wouldn't be like, oh, let's go to the meeting and attack some crazy lady. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
If someone told me like, oh, let's gang up on somebody, you know, if those are my friends, I
Like we
mean,
want her to leave.
even then
so
I would be
people
like,
attack
why?
you.
What is the reason that you're getting attacked?
But I always leave when I want to leave. I don't ever let them
But do you
force
ask
me
them,
out.
Like, why are you screaming at me? Like, what's going on
That's
here?
a good question. I should try that.
Because that's the heart of the problem. Is people get
Intellectual
angry.
insecurity.
Why do they? I don't
Because
understand
they
why
are-
they get angry.
Yeah.
We're the ones that should be angry.
We are the angry
Right?
ones.
But
That's why
they
we
are-
fight, and it's like you're angry for no reason. You're angry because you don't understand.
Because they're
information
emotionally
is the
You know, when you're not educated, what's educated? Indoctrination, right? That's the
Right.
word.
It's a whole
So they're
different
emotionally
story, isn't it?
programmed. If you were knowledgeable,
But you still
you
shouldn't
wouldn't be
care that
angry.
much
You'd be
to
like,
yell
wait a
at a
second,
stranger.
you're doing this wrong. This is how it is. I'm
Doesn't
telling
make
you how it is.
sense to me.
Right? I can explain. When you know something, I can explain it, right? You can talk about it night and day. When you know how to play music, when you understand chords, like but when you just listen, like, yo, you can't talk about the guy with like what he's doing on a guitar or on some instrument, right? Because you don't understand it. So you can't tell me like, oh, the guy that doesn't play, you can't tell the guy who knows how to play, oh, you don't know what you're doing, because I believe it to be different. Tell me what you know, let's talk about it. You know? The same thing is happening online, like with the censorship and like all these people porn, people just discussing flat earth on free chats, and yeah, so many people just pour in and like just offending people and like
That's
throwing these fake
baseless,
messages
though.
and like,
That makes more sense to me than actually coming up to you, screaming at you, and laughing in your face. Like that is really like showing these people are like demented, that they're like possessed.
Demon possession is a real thing.
And so when
If you watch some of the street preachers
Yeah.
videos,
I've seen
there are
it.
demon possessed people
because those
coming
people
up there.
actually care, like they might be screaming about abortion, or they might be screaming about like wars, something like violence. But when it comes to flat Earth, someone's telling them to attack you.
Of course.
Because
I
why
believe
would a kid? The kid doesn't care that much.
well,
The
if
teenager does not care.
they would if they're, again, I'm telling you, the
If
word
they're
is
being
emotional. When you're
brainwashed.
emotionally programmed, you understand? Think about it, like nationalism, the same thing. Somebody says something against their country. Oh, what did you say? Right? You blindly like, it's,
Yeah, don't knock her out.
I'm like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
They look good. Not a hot wing, bro.
No, they're too messy.
But it's also a shame there's only so few honest people. Like I always think that, like, how is there so few honest people? Like you really don't have to be an intellectual for this. You really don't. You have to
No.
be an honest person. You have to look into it honestly and be honest with yourself.
Right.
That's all it requires. It doesn't require brains, college, diplomas, PhD.
Only someone who repents can do that.
Well, it takes morals, to be honest, and morals come from
Exactly. That's what it
religion.
takes, man.
So if you don't have religion, if you have nothing, then you watch TV
Yup.
or you
And
watch
again,
education, which
It
is
goes
based
back to
in
destroying the
Satanism,
creator.
basically, just nihilism. You're just a speck of dust or
Exactly.
nothing.
Exactly.
So if the education system, if the banks, if the media, if it's all run by people that aren't Christians,
Satanists, man.
then
It
that's
is
what
Satan.
kids are getting. But you have to believe that there's a change happening. Because once you learn this stuff, like she said, like once you see it, it's just everywhere. You see the brainwashing everywhere, globes everywhere. You know, you can't go anywhere as a
never
band,
thought
as
I
a
saw
musician,
Yeah.
if you don't have a globe in your music video, or if you don't.
Right, because they're all beholding to that. It's a symbol of their religion. That's
So,
right.
and you can't even
And
be
it's the
anything without
it's
pushing it.
definitely a religion. You know, like people say it's not. It's a religion.
My
It's
question
the worst
last time we were
It's
here
a
was-
godless, satanic religion.
Why do all the churches teach a globe? And is it because they get tax breaks? Because they're not allowed to teach flat
I
earth?
wondered about that too, because I was never a religious person.
The churches have been taken over.
But they don't teach the
The
Bible.
churches have been taken over by the Jews, have taken over the seminaries, so they don't get taught these things.
They don't teach the
Just
Bible.
like the medical schools have been taken over by the pharmaceutical companies.
They don't teach you how to
They've
really
all
heal
been
yourself.
taken over.
Chosen ones own it all.
So we can't expect them to put out anything that's true.
And then they have that same indoctrinated feeling they can't he passed.
I was put out of 2 churches because of flat Earth, and the one I went and saw it because they talk about government. They talk negatively about our government. I thought, oh well, they'll be open. I'll be able to have a home there. Nope, they didn't want to hear this either. This is a real hot button.
So what did they talk about?
Well, they would say, you know, like, well, the government shouldn't be into this, shouldn't do this, you know, that it was just generally...
Just superficially scratching the...
It's gatekeeping. It's showing some truth, but not all. It's like,
well, that's probably true.
Yeah. Like Alex Jones, you know?
Alex Jones?
Alex Jones, like he talks a little bit of, you know, like...
Oh, right.
Mostly
They
BS,
never cross the line, though. They get so far and they'll stop.
Right, right. But the whole thing is like to make the whole conspiracy people look like him. You know,
that's true.
Now,
you're right.
Anybody who was ever like looking at, or anybody who even talks about things that this lunatic talked about, that's them.
That's why I never watched him before.
That's why he doesn't get shut down.
Psychopaths.
But his points were good. So I mean, a lot of when he has a
Some
good
things, but
day,
now,
when he's
yeah.
quiet or...
They need to differentiate between conspiracy theory and conspiracy fact. Once it becomes fact, it's no longer a theory. You need to investigate
But
it.
there's
You need to
definitely
penetrate
lots
the
of
cover-up that's going on because something isn't right. One anomaly, you got to challenge everything. You can't let it go. And that's what we do.
So you didn't tell us about your story. Give us a little bit, take a drink, and then tell us your backstory.
Well, first let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm very thankful to meet 5 other crazy people in the world, personally, other than
And what town are you from?
Skip back.
No kidding. I was there.
You were in Skip
I was
Back?
in the July parade.
Beautiful downtown Skip Back.
I was in the 4th of July parade.
Why?
And I went to one of the flea markets. I was on the street. I had a booth and
Really?
yeah.
Why were you in the parade?
Well, my flat Earth banners on my trailer.
Well, I never go to the parade.
You got to look at my. You never saw my videos. You never saw my videos.
Which one are you, Marilyn?
Maryland Spirit Level.
You know what? I did probably about 2 weeks ago. I watched a couple of them. Yes, as a matter of fact.
I'm not insulted, but
You're that person.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I did watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a little gray car, a little 91 Toyota wagon, and I pull my little 5x8 trailer, and I have sides on it, and I put my 3x8 banners on them. I was also in the Lansdale parade.
Wow. I'll be darned. I'll have to come down and clap for it. And I didn't understand. I didn't know that. I
There you
haven't gone
go.
to the parade since my kids were little. I don't go down there. It's just, and I live about that. I can walk there in less than 5 minutes.
I'm really in Cedars.
Oh, okay. You live in Cedars? Oh, okay. Yeah. My good friend lives down in Cedars. Doc, the chiropractor. Anyway, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Very nice to meet you all. My problem was the reason I looked on the internet 2 weeks ago was something. You know what? There's got to be some more intelligent people out there than what I'm running into. But shit. I got to find somebody at least acknowledges that it may or may not be right. Anyway, the way I got started in this is 9/11. My daughter's boyfriend told me that did I ever investigate 9/11, and I said, why should I? I watched all the things on TV and the History Channel, and they proved all those things wrong. He said, well, maybe everything they showed you wasn't correct. And he's a pretty smart guy, pretty knowledgeable. So I went into it, and I found out there was no plagues actually involved with anything there. And so from there, that was like 7, 8 years ago. So from there, I started challenging everything. Sandy Hook, obviously, nobody died.
Right.
Maybe some people did die. And
I think the mother died.
Yeah?
The mother? I think they offed her. The CIA.
Oh, one of those.
so anyway,
okay.
here's how this came about. I'm been in construction ever since I
There's
was
always a sacrifice, yeah.
10 years old, right? And I worked for Raytheon. I worked for Bechtel Power Corporations. They don't get any bigger than them outfits. We did big jobs, nuclear power plants and everything. So I know what it takes to melt steel. I know what it takes to break shit up and make it disappear. And like you say, it's all justified. The molecular structure was completely broken down. And everything turned it. That's why they didn't find a toilet, a filing cabinet. They didn't even find a person in there. The only people they found were people who jumped. The other ones they found out. So after realizing this is all bullshit, and the way it's been covered up and perpetuated, this breaking investigation, And if it wasn't for the Jersey girls, you know, there never would have been any investigation. Those girls pushed it, forced Bush to do something. So they did. So once I started with that, then a few other things, and then somehow I connected with Flat Earth. You know, people are crazy. Look at me, it's flat. I'm gonna be flat. It's flat. So then I started doing my own experiments, and I was telling Linda about a couple of them. Like,
What'd you do?
well, it started with the stars. I figured if anything's going to tell me if the Earth's rotating, first I determined that the Earth wasn't spinning with the stars. And I thought, well, okay, now it's not spinning. Okay, if it's not spinning, what else is it?
Harry failed for a good reason.
How's this work? And so I found that to be a misnomer. And then it was on and on into the moon and the ISIS, or not the ISIS, the ISS. And I'm thinking, okay, we don't have any pictures of anything going out there. Everything's CGI. Everything's, we should have pictures up, down, sideways, left, right. And we're not getting any. Plus, they're showing us color from that distance. You shouldn't see color from that distance. It's, you know, it just goes away after a certain distance. And so it's been probably 2.5 years I've been on this, and my daughters, I got 3 daughters. Nobody wants to hear this shit. Nobody believes it. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody. I know smart people, intelligent people, people
So
of
do we,
all,
actually. Your children? Mom
all
is the only one
academic, all academia,
That's because we live together. So
and nobody
she's had to
wants to
listen
hear
to me
this.
for a while.
Nobody wants to
She
hear
couldn't
it.
hear it from him, so
Yeah.
she listened to me.
Nobody wants to hear the truth or even investigate the truth. They won't take any facts and get into it. They assume that you're crazy, and that's okay.
Why do they assume we're crazy?
Well, because they've been educated. This is what they were taught in
But
school.
we're not crazy though.
Why would they teach it in school if it wasn't true?
We're not crazy, so like you have to know,
Like I
know
said to
that.
my
Establish facts.
Well, like
So-
you said, it's emotional programming.
Once you realize
Yeah.
the programming
Yeah.
that has been going on, and here's one of the things I got a kick out of the programming. I have a little granddaughter. She's just turned 2, and ever since she's been 1, maybe a little early, I happen to read all about the TV, the frequencies, and so forth that they generate within the commercials. Well, anyway, whenever she was playing or we were playing, and the TV was on, whatever we were doing, whenever a commercial came on, she would turn around and stare at the TV, regardless of what we're doing.
Wow.
This is my imagination. Why is this kid doing this? As soon as it's over, she turn around and play again. Same thing. Next time commercial come on, she's totally involved in whatever she's doing. She's spin around and stare at it. It's like, oh my God.
What's in there?
So, if you don't understand, so then I got into the brain, how the brain works, what frequencies, 75 to 80 kilohertz, 85, somewhere there. Once you get in and around those frequencies, you can control certain functions, right? And turn things on and off.
Wow.
And so, oh my God, this is really bad. And I don't know if you ever heard of the woodpeckers. You ever hear of the Russian woodpecker?
No, tell me that.
Okay, the Russian woodpecker was.
That's how they got Americans out of embassy, right?
The Russian woodpecker, you know where Chernobyl is, right? Chernobyl blew up, whatever it was. The Russian woodpecker was built in proximity to that. It was built over a period of years, and they spent billions and billions. No, it's an antenna.
Oh, okay.
It's an antenna that's as large as, I don't even know what to compare it to, bigger than a football field and higher than a football
And it's
field.
called
Is it
woodpecker
like-
because it makes it sound like
Oh, so it's like harp?
It's
a
well,
weapon.
It's different than harp.
It's a weapon on
But
its own.
what it was designed for. Yeah, we're excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
What kind of what beer is this?
You guys
Is
picked
this
the net.
So what is it, like a single hop?
So it's a hazy IPA. It's got a description.
Okay, so that's okay. Thank you.
So what the Russian woodpecker was built for was to spy on everybody, everywhere, all the time. So they built this thing, and they spent billions and billions of dollars on it. All the time coming for the Russian government, they wanted to see a demonstration of it actually working, right? Well, the problem was the thing didn't work right. Didn't do what it was supposed to do. Initially, it was supposed to be able to spy on anybody, anywhere in the world, which they could do. They could detect certain things, certain anomalies, for instance, nuclear things going off and so forth. Anyway, it didn't go off. It didn't work. So that in order to cover it up, the night shift of the Chernobyl, they had them take and
Are you kidding?
move the graphite things around to deliberately blow this thing up and cause a distraction. Because the number of people involved with this, their heads would have been chopped.
Oh my gosh.
But the Russian woodpecker broadcast on 10 kilohertz, okay? 10 kilohertz is like an ELF, ultra low frequency.
Microwave.
Well, a little lower than that. Very low, something that, only certain animals can hear, we can't.
Like whales?
Well, those are microwaves, not they?
Well, yeah, microwaves, that's kind of like the other spectrum. But anyway, this thing didn't work, so they blew up Chernobyl to cover up
Wow.
their years and years of bullshit. Yeah. So once you understand what the woodpecker was able to do and the power that they needed to generate to go all over the world, partially why Chernobyl was there to support that power grid, they were pretty much they could destabilize most people's brains with that frequency wave if they wanted to. In other words, now we can attack. They have these systems now that they call them the LARDs, the long range.
It's like 5G.
This is worse than 5G. Yeah, this is what they were doing. It wouldn't have hurt you as bad. It would have destroyed you more or less the same.
But it can affect your mind's emotions.
Yeah, it can do anything what they want to. And they've come a long way since then. So that's why this long-range audio frequency that they use now for driving people into the ground when they turn it on. Are you familiar with that? They don't need weapons. They can just turn this frequency on and it drive you into the ground. You can't take the noise that it generates. They use it. Certain police departments have it. They haven't used it much in the United States.
Oh, the sound wave? I saw a video of it on a Jeep, and the guys were there, and they didn't. It repelled
for the crowd control. That's
the sound
it's
wave.
Called crowd control. Yeah, they can drive you back, or they can drive you into the ground. They can actually almost make your head explode if they want to. That's what the 5G. That's what the 5G is going to be able to do once they get it instituted on every pole within 500 feet.
But they've been doing this mind control with these towers for a long time.
Yeah,
like, you know, like for example, all I can do is like pull off one of these fake events, pulse the fear frequency. You understand? Like when you feel like they so easily mind control.
These towers right now, when you go up, I went out
just
and
look at cable
I checked
side.
them out. Electrical was one of my big things. When you look at the power
that's what I was
that they have going into these towers,
the size of the cables.
not only the size, the voltage that they have is crazy.
And where does the power come from?
Well,
Does
what'll happen is it can only come from the
ground.
Well, from
if you look at any of these towers, they're not connected to anything.
Well, it's all underground.
All underground.
Yeah. You know, so whenever they set those off and you can't take it anymore, you have to take your shotgun and start shooting your son of bitches. With the power that
but where do you shoot? Tell me where to shoot.
All you have to do is destroy the antenna.
Just
don't try to chop the cables, you get hurt.
Well, I'm going to be shooting, so it's. No, I have a scope on my 22.
That looks like an antenna.
Anything that looks like an antenna.
The long ones like this, like that.
Okay.
Yeah, they have them on. They're 120 degrees out of phase with each other. But anyway,
I'm definitely preparing for that.
There's no need to have that, and that's what they'll use when they need to take an area and control it. They'll just turn that on, and that's why they have. You only need one every 5 miles, but they got it down to much closer proximity. So what you have to do is take, and when you see the power that they have going into these things, when they want to crank them up, they can crank them up, and it's all done remotely. And you won't have a chance. You will drop to your knees, and that'll be it. You'll be done. You'll wish you were dead. That's how bad that can get. So this woodpecker thing, once they got over the hump, actually the guys that in the Russian government that kept perpetuating and dumping money into it, the thing did do certain things, but it didn't do everything it was supposed to. So that's why they had to not do the demonstration, because it would have been the way the Russians wrote back then. Everybody that was associated with it died, including their family.
You think that has something to do with like those flocks of birds landing on the ground dead?
Yeah, that screws up birds so bad. Yeah, when they fly into that frequency.
And fish dying and...
Yeah, the harp's the same thing. Harp's
jumping out of the lakes.
Harps, much worse because of the heat that it generates in the ionosphere. That is just so detrimental to any living creature or anything. The heat, let alone the frequency that's coming out of that thing.
Right, and when they measure for their safety, they only measure heat.
So
So in other words, it doesn't cause a thermal effect like, oh, it's safe. That's what they
And
say.
what do they tell us?
They can pulse frequency from here.
See?
If it doesn't heat up your tissue, oh, it's safe. You don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, they tell
That's what
us
they say.
that it's all for our
It's all
good.
safe.
Yeah, it's all for our good. We're going to
If it wasn't
stop
for that,
global
we
warming.
wouldn't uprise for no reason. Do you know people who want to go fight Hill? Those are the ones that are making
No,
us
but
go
the
fight
people
Hill.
who are in control, there is something genetically wrong with them. They are
It's called pornorology. You ever read the book?
pornorology,
Pornorology. Never heard of it?
Explain.
It's not
the
about
study
porn.
of, it sounded like that, and that's what they
Study of-
do.
It's a study of evil.
Okay.
Why these people are evil.
Okay.
Why they have no empathy, no conscience, no values other than their own. They're narcissistic. How these people think, and it's not like we think. They're totally.
No, I understand
They're
that.
totally contrary to anything that we could even conceive or feel. They're
Well, I
open.
spend about 5 hours listening to the testimony of the Hampstead case in England, where the two children, their father sexually abused them since they were infants, and he was like the satanic leader of that group, and it was in a church, and the church school next to it, and they were doing all the kids and everything.
Like it has
And
to start early, in my opinion.
yeah, and so that changes those children, and they don't know any different. That is their reality, so they grow up and think that's the right thing
do
to
that
do.
to others.
Yes, so it just perpetuates itself.
That's the only way it would make sense.
But there are people that don't have any empathy. It's not within a period.
Well, when you
And
are
that's
being
truly
assaulted
evil
like
person.
that, you disassociative.
But
That's
yeah,
a
you can take people and do it exactly what you're saying, but they are not as bad as a person with no conscience whatsoever.
And they interbreed,
Yeah.
yeah,
so that's a lot of.
and close breed, which is another thing that messes their DNA.
Do you remember all the movies we used to watch about, or even Game of Thrones? To me, that's such a lifelike show. Did you watch
No,
it?
we don't want like
Predictive
put on TV.
programming.
But it's kind of like that's. It's got
If
the
you
ice
watch-
wall in
yeah.
it, it's
We
got
threw our
the-
TV
that's
after
what
9/11
shows
was literally-
If you watch the
9/11 was it. No more TV for us.
If you watch the Game of Thrones, this is what the globalist agenda is and has been. They're showing you everything.
Those kind of people are what he's
They're
talking
saying
about.
this is how it
They
is.
write everything.
But it's built
Game of
under
Thrones?
the
They're in charge of the media.
They're billing under
They're
the
in
guise
charge
of
of Hollywood.
entertainment.
This is how
That's why I don't
we're
watch
showing
any
it
shit,
to you.
man. Like,
And
It's
the
about
problem
degrading
with
society.
Yeah, so it's working.
Hollywood is the same as the media. It's been bought up by the globalists. They're controlling it.
they had it. They had it since
started
day
it.
one. They started it.
Yeah, they started.
Eastern
it. They
European
started.
China started Hollywood.
Talmud.
Yeah.
That's what actually Hollywood has to do with some like tree of like the great Zionist.
The holly is the tree that the witches and the warlocks use in their wand.
It's
Yeah,
Talmud.
there you go.
It's all their shit.
So that's how it all started.
Yeah,
Jews own the Hollywood.
People
They own
are
the
starting
banks.
to wake
They own
up.
our government.
It's taking-
They own the world.
they aren't the true Jews, though.
Exactly. I know what you mean. Khazarians, Ashkenazi.
Yes.
Nazis.
Yes.
National Zionists.
I think they just took that name of Jew so they would get national or world sympathy for being persecuted the way that Jews in the Bible were
Oh, is that
persecuted.
what that someone just posted?
Anti-Semite. They're not Semites.
Revelations 2:9 is something about they're saying they're Jews,
It's
but
all
they're
in the
not.
Revelations book.
It's all in there.
Everything. I mean, people say we're in the end times right now. That this is all headed in one direction, which is
Is that
all
like is that like
prophesized.
this is our story in that book?
Yes, it's all in the book of
Yeah.
Revelations.
Just
I think
started reading
so.
it. It's a hard read if you're not
And
used to it.
I hear that we are part of the remnant.
What?
The remnant. There's a group that is going to be on the earth trying to gather up all the souls that are supposed to go to heaven. And I think that's our job.
Us,
I-
you mean?
Us,
The ones who are woken
the
up.
flat earthers who understand Revelation. Yeah, we're supposed to be gathering up the souls.
How about I don't understand Revelation, but I understand that I walk on level ground and that I don't live on a spinning.
Okay.
And I'm not religious, but I respect
But you believe in a
everyone.
creator.
Oh, absolutely. I don't believe it. I know it.
Okay.
You have to be a retard not to know. Like,
So
I'm
to
sorry,
put a
anyway.
name to that and
No
say
offense.
it's this or that,
So,
I'm not there.
what I'm
I don't
saying is
ever
that-
go and teach and
Yeah,
say
I know,
Jesus this or that.
Exactly.
I don't do that. I say this is, without religion, this is the facts about it, and then you have to decide who created it, and that'll see
So,
if I tell them
Or
and
just be comfortable not knowing. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable not knowing.
But think about this, like all of this, when you look in the mirror, any of us,
I
right?
always, my words have been always, for so many years, don't put God in a box. We can't say
Right.
who God is, what God looks like.
Oh, which
what
one's
God,
right, which
is
one's
there
not,
a
like which
name?
religion?
Is it male? Is it female? Is it anything? It's just
creator.
creator.
I met a man that I asked him, I said, so
And I
you
was
believe
born,
in God?
I
And he
was
goes,
brought up
of course,
Catholic,
it's
and
everywhere.
then I switched over
Exactly.
And I said, that's going to be my new
non-Catholic,
thing, because
and
that's
then
such a,
actually
it
why
is
I left.
everywhere.
Just think
Pastor
about it.
kept
Look in the
talking
mirror.
about trying to fix
Just look in the mirror.
fix gay people.
Tell
Yes.
yourself being an accident. And try not to laugh.
It's not really.
You know, just
Yeah.
look at the
I don't
perfection
know,
of,
like
everything,
it
of all our
irritated
organs
me
that function
every
together.
single
Just
service.
step out
Like,
in nature, look
let's,
around. All of this,
every flower,
cosmic
every
fart,
bug.
accident.
That's
It's
not.
almost like
If there
Dude,
I
was
don't
a
know. Like, yeah, it
God
just
or a
irritates me. I'm
creator,
like,
whatever it
there's so many
happens
gay
to be.
people in my life. They're beautiful people. I'm not worried that they're going to hell because they're.
but are they flat earthers?
So, that was the end of religion.
Are they flat earthers?
But godly.
Are they flat earthers? The gay people you love. You think they're beautiful people. Are they flat earthers?
check this. My brother's
No.
I
gay.
hardly know any
Yeah,
flat
yeah.
earthers. I mean,
No, they're lost.
Yeah, my brother's gay. He's lost, and I don't get along with my
But
brother.
one of my best friends is gay, and when I told her about this, she's like, Jamie. She just started like.
That's her start. Okay, then she has to continue the journey.
That's what got me back into reading the Bible was Flat Earth. I owe Flat Earth everything to get me back
Yeah.
to Jesus, because once I'm like, well, certain things I'm seeing are true. Well, I'm reading this is true. Everything Jesus said seems to be like I already knew that as a Christian, but half my family's Jewish, so I have kind of a different perspective. But when you see the truth, you can't deny
Torah
it.
good, Talmud bad.
I'm very familiar with the
Here's the deal.
atrocities.
If there was a God or a creator, which there probably is, first of all, you wouldn't be so damn narcissistic to want people to bow down and worship him.
Yeah.
He would expect you, just what you expect of your kids. Do the right thing.
Right.
Honesty, integrity, that kind of
Moral
stuff. That's
standards.
all he's looking
It's the
for.
only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
Moral standards. pretty
Heaven and
much.
hell
Let's
is
go.
right here. You know, it's in every decision you make.
For example, check this. Do you, guys, do we think this is just a glass? We're not talking about the whole earth and perfection of divine order. We're talking about a pure glass. Is this an accident? Somebody freaking made this cup.
We're
to
good.
hold the water. But we don't know the name of the person.
Anybody need anything? Here, you can take this. The fork is inside.
Thank you.
You know what I
You
mean?
didn't eat that.
I ate the burger.
Here's the problem. Here's the main problem, though. Everything's broken. Doesn't matter what it is. Government, religion. It's all broken. Nothing functions like it could or should. It's all controlled and manipulated to the point where.
And what do we do about that? You know, that's what we got it like, what the heck, man? I wanted to discuss these emails.
I think it's too late. I think it's way too late to fix anything. The main reason being Fukushima is it just keeps on killing. It's an end of the.
What do you mean?
It's an extinction level event.
Can you tell me more?
Fukushima.
Yeah.
Most of the
Japan.
Pacific is dead. There aren't any fish in it alive anymore. Everything's dead. Yeah. Nobody does. They should be telling us they're not. Everything's contaminated.
I know people
cesium,
worried about
strontium. Yeah, and it's not going to stop because it can't stop. They do not have any technology.
From what? What are you talking about?
Well, first of all, you have the fuel that was in the reactor. Okay.
Radiation.
The pure fuel, the U-237, and then you had the spent fuel pools, which is the fuel that they extract from the reactor every 2 years, okay? Then they put it in a pool of demineralized water and keep it cool. And that's where they store it and maintain it because they don't have anything else to do with it. There are dry cast storage areas, but they're not many. Anyway, this fuel keeps radiating cesium, strontium, and I don't know how many other daughter radiation type things continually into the atmosphere and into the ocean.
Really?
Yeah. It's bad. And believe me, not to, that's
Is
why.
there like but where did you see this? Like, is there any findings? Like some research? Like,
Yeah.
can you send me some? Like,
Yeah,
I just want to check it out. Like,
it's bad.
I'm not
It's bad,
denying
and
it.
it's not going to get better. It's not going to stop because there's
But
no
somebody
way.
documented this?
Yeah, there's no way. They're dumping 400 tons of highly radioactive water, probably more than that, into the Pacific every day for the last 8 years.
Get rid of it? Are
Well,
disposing of
they-
it? That's what's
To
happening?
harm us.
All they can do, here's what they can do. It's like you have a fire, okay, and you keep throwing up water on a fire forever. And the water has to run off somewhere. So what they do is put it back in the ocean because there's nowhere to contain it. There's no way to filter it enough to make it safe.
There's no outer space for them to put
There's
it
no
in.
outer space for it. It's bad news. It's an extinction level event. It's working its way around the Pacific now. Every fish you test is so contaminated. You know what a hot particle is?
Nope.
Okay, radiation. Hot particle is radiation can't exist without dirt or some mineral. And when you have a mineral, let's say this is a mineral, only you can't see it. And it comes into certain types of radiation, it becomes radioactive itself. Okay? And once it gets to that point, it doesn't dissipate for thousands of years till it's safe for us. Just like taking your microwave, you jumping inside the microwave, okay, and getting fried. That's exactly what it does, only on a
And it
smaller
lasts for
scale.
thousands of years.
So when you ingest a hot particle, it goes, you ingest it, goes in your body, and it starts pounding away, boom, 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 like those cells, until it creates various types of tumors. And that's what's happening to all the fish and everything else in the Pacific. That's why you'll see these fish that have these totally scary looking features anymore. Bad news. It's bad news. So what I'm
Yeah,
getting
and
at-
then they fish, and then you eat those fish, and then we get them.
Yeah, and it's not a good thing. But between the biosphere and Fukushima, there's very little that can be done. I mean, they're out there spraying every goddamn day all over the world like nobody's business, right?
That's right.
It's just coming down, we're breathing it, and it's like,
That's right.
And people don't believe that either.
yeah, that's the most ironic thing. You can go out on a perfectly clear day and look at 15 planes at once flying by.
And then all of a sudden one day, like there weren't any, and I said to my husband, I said,
Yeah.
oh, isn't that interesting? I said, there's not
All of a
one
sudden
plane
goes,
flying
Yeah.
today.
all of a sudden nobody has to go
He's like,
anywhere.
he always has an answer.
The
All those
humidity,
commercials
the
are
humidity
crazy.
has, when you don't see them
He doesn't
flying,
believe in
the
any of
humidity
this.
has to be perfect for them to fly. They have to be able to gather moisture
Yep.
You do
with
it at
that
night,
material.
See, that's
too.
why I'm thinking it's
They
not like,
block
I
out
don't know
everything
about
at night.
like,
At night too.
we've been researching this issue for like, what, 20 years now? Like, and I still know as much as I did 20 years ago about chemtrails. I believed in the beginning, barium and all that
realize that
shit,
they
but
were
like,
going on that way.
I don't know anymore.
I don't know either.
I almost want to think it's some kind of a hoax, some kind of a fear hoax.
Well, what's
To
happening?
people who see and know just to hoax them or some kind of, I don't know.
No,
I really
here's
don't know.
here's what's
20
happening.
years,
Why
I
they're
think about
doing it
chemtrails.
so heavily now. First of all,
It's
they
been- look,
want to
it's
they
been
want to
heavily-
eliminate a lot, as many people as they can, as innocuously as they can.
Basically
But-
cancer.
Yeah,
lung
but the other thing
diseases.
is the UVC radiation. You have UVA, UVB, and UVC. UVA always came through at certain levels. UVC never came through at 5%. Now we're getting 80 to 90%. That's why it's burning off the barks on the trees. The trees are dying. You can't. That's why when you go out in the sun and it instantly burns. That's the UVC radiation coming through.
But
When
it
you
doesn't
feel
have
that.
anything to do with the sun. It's in the atmosphere.
The sun, the radiation is actually being generated by the sun. It used to filter it or block it, but now it's not. So what they're doing is this solar radiation management, trying to block as much as they can.
Yeah, that's what I see. Like, I just see like what I can observe, that it's a visually, excuse my French, it's like the whole day. You almost like you hate it, like it messes up your mood. Like, why? How is this even possible?
Because a happy sunny
So
day.
who allow these people to do
Energy.
that? That's my thing. But honestly, 20 years, I still can't say like, okay, it's barium, it's this chemical, it's that chemical.
There's that guy, Dana
I don't know.
Wigington, I think is his
Dane
name.
Wigington.
Dane Wigington. Okay, it was close.
He's
And
incredible.
Yeah, but it's such a complicated, reading about it. There's thousands of articles, so I just kind of touched on. I know they are suing people. I don't know who, but to try to get information.
Think about this, like almost 3 decades of spraying. We still don't even know who's doing it.
UN's doing it.
Here, we want to.
It's not a public thing. No,
It's
like
in-
maybe
it's in-
you and
it's
I
in-
can research it, like, and we can think about it.
If you read the
But
UN
nobody
reports,
even-
it's in the UN reports. It cost them $11 billion a year to do this.
I've seen.
It is in
I've
the UN
seen the
reports.
scientists talking about it, but I'm talking
But
about
they're
the
saying
mainstream, like
to keep the radiation
it's still
away
being
from
ignored,
us. That's their
right? And block the sun. Yeah.
Well, you have all of the news agencies are all owned by the same people. The UN is taking orders.
Zionists.
The European Union, they're all like arms of this octopus. So it has a head, and that's like the owners of the Federal Reserve Bank.
Right.
The Rothschilds, Rockefellers.
We all thought it was our federal government. That's what I thought. It was the bank.
Oh, yeah, you
We
thought
don't
it
have
was
a
a
government.
unit of the federal
We
government.
don't have
No,
a
it's not.
government.
I always thought until
That's
just
the
a
trouble.
few years ago.
Yeah, everybody thinks because it has that name, and that's why they came up with that name
And
when
now-
they were in
now
Jekyll
people are
Island.
starting to realize and
Make
learn
Israel
and read
great again.
about it, right? And YouTube
Yeah.
is giving us, so we're getting information. Otherwise,
Right.
you would have
And
had to-
even before the Flat Earth, I was in the Patriot movement. And that's when we were in Philadelphia protesting the Federal Reserve Bank. Walking down Market Street and then around City Hall with banners about end the Fed, So I've been in this kind of truth movement for many, many years. And I was a creationist before I came to Flat Earth. So this was just the icing on the cake for me.
But we were saying earlier, like, what is it about us or the people that are going, oh, light bulb, how come we're seeing it and other people can't?
Because we're honest. Most people are not honest.
That's what it takes, man. That's all it is. It's moral standards,
You have to
man.
know
Like the
that-
honesty. That's it.